How's it going? My name is Jack Wilton, and for my first video, my prompt was give me an in-depth rundown with details about the official rules of NCAA lacrosse, along with a list of the best schools in the nation for 2023. And this is just a glimpse of what chat told me back, the output that it gave me. ChatGPT didn't really go in depth about the rules of the game of lacrosse, but it rather kind of gave an overview of several different areas regarding the game. And as you can see here at the top, since ChatGPT only has data up to 2021, it hasn't registered any of the new rules that were implemented over the past 2 years. And majority of the output is correct, but then again, it is just more of an overview and doesn't actually go much into the actual rules of the game and the consequences that could follow. So going in here to the first section for the field, the dimensions of the fields are correct, but it doesn't really talk about the important areas on the field, like the crease or the goal mouth. It does talk about how it is split up into 3 parts, and it does talk about the crease and these restraining lines and the substitution areas, but it doesn't say where or how long or just like anything specific about these set areas because they're important areas to the game. The creases they could have at least given a definition too. The creases where the goalie stands and only defensive players can step into that area, and the goal mouth is a smaller area where the it's kind of just used to deter crease dives, which is a part of the rules, which was implemented after 2021. And it also doesn't specify where these areas are, like the crease and the restraining lines. It just states what they are. For the team section here, everything is correct and it's also explained correctly. There's not really much rules that are involved with the teams. Just as long as you have your 10 players, everything should be fine. Gameplay, this section right here, number 3, is a very brief and vague rundown of the general happenings of the game, and has some very misleading text here. This says long-handled sticks. The game contains 2 kinds of sticks that players use, long sticks which defense use and short sticks which offensive players use. So using the term long-handled sticks is could be deceiving for people who may not know what the specifics about the game. But other than that, the information isn't necessarily wrong. And it fails to mention shot clock, which is a game-changing rule that was implemented for the start of the 2022 season. So somebody who's trying to look up the rules would be missing out on that information. Ooh, sorry about that. Fix that here. For face-offs, section 4 here, it's correct information, but it fails to inform users about that face-offs occur after every goal instead of just at the beginning of the game, like it says here. And there's also a lot of details and specific rules that go along with a face-off that were not mentioned at all in this section. Time and scoring in section 5, the information is correct again, but it doesn't talk about what happens in the overtime rules, like if it's a golden goal or if they play a whole overtime period, which is something that would be important because overtime is a very important part of a lot of these games. And then the most important part, which was the fouls and penalties part here at section 6. This section is the most important part regarding my prompt and what I wanted to find out about the NCAA lacrosse rules. It was very vague about the penalties and didn't specify which penalties could result in a penalty time and what doesn't. It also failed to list out all the penalties that can occur during a game and did not differentiate between whether these penalties are personal or technical fouls or what could lead to a player expulsion. Continued on here. I also asked for the top 10 teams in the nation. And then again, because it was from 2021, it was unable to gather data from the past 2 years. And even so, the data that it grabbed, I believe, is just kind of who has won the most national titles or conference titles of all time, and hasn't very looked into their how good they've been the past couple seasons and stuff like that. So I don't think this is a very reflective top 10 of what's been going on in the lacrosse world these past couple of years, even with the information that they're able to grab off of the internet as well. But other than that, the information that was contained in the majority of this it's correct information, but it didn't really answer my prompt of an in-depth rundown with details of the official rules. Because a lot of these are just kind of, again, like I said, an overview of the game, kind of just stuff you would say to somebody who just asked, "Oh, what is lacrosse?" Not necessarily anything about the rules in general. So the question I really have is, if these large language models are supposed to be searching these large amounts of data, why couldn't it give me specific details to what I'm looking for? Because when I was doing a little bit of research, you could find the entire NCAA rulebook online PDF with extremely in-depth data and information about all the rules, even in all of these sections as well. But yeah, that's all I have for today, and thanks for watching.